This is my official review of the K1 Max from Creality. I'm going to be talking about things that I like about this printer, things I don't like about this printer, and what my honest opinion about this printer is. Creality did not send me this printer. I bought it with my own money. I bought it for Christmas. The reason why I bought it is that my CR6 SE over there from Creality is dead. Not dead, but I stripped the thread in the heat block, and now I cannot put any nozzle in there and I cannot print anymore. So that's why I bought the K1 Max from Creality. This printer has been amazing. I'll show you some examples of what I printed, and I'll go over the pros and cons, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what is troublesome, what is amazing about it, and stuff like that. And let's get started. A little bit of coffee break before we go on. Happy New Year to every single person out there. It's currently 2 in the morning right now. I'm drinking coffee at 2 in the morning. The reason why I like this printer so much, and I bought it over like any other printer, the first thing I like about this printer is the build volume. It's 300 by 300 by 300 millimeters, and it's just amazing. I feel like you don't need to go bigger than 300 millimeters, but there are some projects, some things that you want to print bigger than 300 millimeters. 300 millimeters cube is perfect and it's good enough for me. Second thing I like about this printer is that it just prints out of the box. You don't have to do any calibration. There's no bed leveling. It automatically just do that for you, and it just work flawlessly. I'll show you some of the print that I have printed with this printer over the last couple weeks. Well, of course, the first thing we have to do is always print a benchy, right? This benchy, it's in 16 minutes, as you can see all the advertisement. This was the first print I printed with the K1 Max, and it got some black filament pre-installed in the nozzle. I think they were just testing it at the factory or something, and I did not know that, so I loaded in Creality white PLA in there, and I just print some black at the bottom, but everything else just look amazing about this benchy right here. All of the line, the layer lines and stuff like that, the top, the bottom, the bridging, all that thing is just amazing. This was the second print. It was from Elegoo's PLA Plus. You can print that max 600 millimeters per second too, and it printed out flawlessly too. The bridging, the layer line, everything like that, it just printed. The first layer just printed so smoothly, so flawlessly. It's just printed really nicely. This benchy was printed using PETG, and as you can see right there, there's some flaw right there. I think that's because of me not wiping the nozzle, and it just oozed down a little bit, so it just ruined that part right there. Other than that, it printed flawlessly. This benchy right here was using Creality pre-sliced 16-minute PLA G-code, and it printed that nicely. It was supposed to print PLA, but using PETG, and it just print amazingly. I will make a video in the future talking about printing speed and all kinds of filament and stuff like that. If you want to see that video, subscribe to get notified when that video drop. Comparing speed between PETG, normal PLA, Rapid PLA, PLA Plus, and all of the amazing filament out there. This benchy right here, I calibrated, printed at PETG level, 245C for the nozzle, 80 for the bed, printed nicely. Of course, I forgot to change the Z seam right there, and as you can see inside the bolt, it has some stringy that it was not connecting to the bolt, but other than that, it's still a nice one. The third thing I like about the K1 Max is that it's very easy to get access to everything inside the printer because it's way too big. I can fit my whole head inside the printer when opening this. I totally forgot to turn off the fan when I'm recording this. I was like, this is just so loud. And that is one of the negative things about this printer right there. Let's go through more prints, and then I will talk about the bad things or things that I just don't like about this printer. This right here is a recent print that I print out, and it just looked flawlessly. As you can see there, it just looks so amazing. I'm telling you, this printed with no support at all. Even with all these weird angle and stuff like that, it printed with no support. I bet you did not know that it was printed in 2 pieces. Let me show you. This was the first iteration that I printed using PLA carbon fiber, and it printed so nicely. My CR6 SE right there can't really print carbon fiber. There's like so much stringy, and it just don't print it well, but I don't feel like that's a fair comparison because I don't have that many printers. So let's just continue with the Cable Max. Anyway, as you can see, this carbon fiber PLA, you can't print it flawlessly. I just did not dial in really nicely, but it's printed in 2 pieces. I print both these downward like this, and this is it's what I call a snake battery holder. It's what I name it. It's connected using these 2 hole connector. That one was supposed to be another hole, but I broke it. You just line up these holes and then you just click it into place like that. It's very easy, very simple, and it just works flawlessly. You just put a AAA battery in here. It's a AAA battery. It's the smaller version. You just put it in there and it just rolls. Another thing I like about this printer is the first layer is just so smooth. As you can see there, that's like buttery smooth. Of course, it has some flaws right there too. Other than that, it's just very smooth, very nicely done. And especially using PLA, just regular PLA or PLA Plus, it just prints flawlessly. There's no minimum, there's like minimum stringy stuff like that, and it just printed so perfectly. Another thing I like about this printer is that it heats up very fast. The nozzle heats up so fast. It keeps dropping down, but every single time you want to extrude, you want to retract, it just heat up and then do it. It's just so fast. It's just so nice. Now it's time to go to the negative things about this printer. The first one, of course, is going to be the nozzle clogging. This printer is really prone to clogging. The Cable Max is very sensitive to clogging. In the past few weeks that I got this printer, it has been clogging a lot. If you don't change the filament, it don't clog. Well, I shouldn't say that. While I was trying to print this snake battery holder, it clogged. I just started the printing and I heard a weird noise, clunk, clunk, clunk. Every single time you try to extrude, you just hear the clunking noise. It means it's stuck or it's clogged. The Cable Max setup for the nozzle, you have the nozzle, you have the heat block, and then you have like a dry spot, and then you have the blue tube, then you have the bottom tube up there. That dry spot right there, that's the part that it keeps clogging. First time it clogged, I didn't know. I went online, searched why did it clog. I searched up a video how to take off this nozzle head. I took off the nozzle head, the extruder block and everything, and I strip it down. I look inside of that nozzle and there was a spot that it was clogged. I heat up the nozzle up to 240 Celsius, but it does nothing. I cannot extrude, I cannot do anything. I tried to put a pin. I tried using one of these clog free pin or whatever they call it. I tried shoving it up the nozzle, but it did not work because it goes through the nozzle and then it goes to the solid filament that was stuck inside of the nozzle that was not heated, so it's just solid block that you cannot poke through or anything. I will have a video explaining the whole process of how to unclog this thing in another video, but I will summarize it right now. Creality include one of these things inside of the accessory box, which I have no idea what this is for. If anybody know what this is actually used for, tell me in the comment. As you can see right there, it's black because this is PLA carbon fiber. So what I did was I heat up this thing using a blowtorch and make it super hot. I stick it through the bottom tube from the top to melt the filament that was stuck inside of the cold spot in the heat block, and I pull it out, wipe it, did it again, wipe it, and then it was kind of clog free, and then extrude the filament through and it worked. So I guess that's what this is used for. But anyway, the first thing I don't like about this printer is that it just keeps clogging. If you change the filament or not, sometimes the filament break and it just clog. Second thing I don't like about this printer is the top layer finish is just so bad. A perfect example is this. This is the top layer finish and it's just so bad. I don't know why. I put a good amount of infill in there, but it just finished so bad. Oh, by the way, this is a project I'm doing for my own car. It's a mud flat that I'm building for my car. If you want to see that series, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Layer finish. The top layer finish is just so bad. Another example is this keychain that I was trying to make. As you can see right there, that's the top layer finish, and it's just so bad. Even with iron, it's still really not good. This is another keychain that I made, and as you can see there, it just looks so flawlessly, right? Compared to this, it looks so different. This was printed upward like this, and this one was printed laying down like this. So that's the top finish, and the top finish for this one is right here. As you can see there, it's not good at all. It still has some gaps, some hole right there. I don't know why. This is with iron, and it still look not good. But the side of this thing is just flawlessly. You can barely, from this far away, you can't barely tell that it's 3D printed. It's that good. Another example is this keychain right here. Same thing, printed laying flat down, and the top layer finish is not good at all. If you print it solid, oh my gosh, that is so bright. If you print it solid, it looks actually pretty good. This is with 100% infill, and it looks amazing. The top layer looks amazing with iron. It looks really good. My CR6 SE was printing the top layer so much better than the K1 Max. I printed two things that are the same using different setting. For the G code, the infill of the thing is pretty much the same, but this K1 Max just cannot print top layer well enough. Those are the two things I don't really like about this K1 Max. First of all, it's very sensitive to clogging. Second is the top layer finish is just really bad. Let's take a look at this thing that I printed right now. Okay, it hit the top and it just came off very easily. Ooh, look at that. This is a funnel I made. As you can see there, that's the brim. The brim just came off so easily. And as you can see here, it printed so nicely. It's so smooth. This is PETG. I printed with only 20% fan speed of everything, only 20% fan speed, and it just printed so nicely. Even though one of the side does not have cooling, it still printed so flawlessly. And I heard that if you print at lower fan speed, it gives time for the filament to bond together and it's stronger, and I think it's more watertight. I believe this thing might be watertight. People say that PETG is kind of watertight, so that's what I'm going for. I'm using this for my oil change in the future because the funnel I have is very short and it's really bad, so I hope this one is going to be so much better. As you can see there, it just printed so nicely. Well, of course there's a seam, but other than that, it just printed flawlessly. This thing can munch down PETG very nicely. My CR6 SE was having trouble printing PETG, but K1 Max is just easy for it. I don't know if it's just this K1 Max or anything, but I never seen this problem arise before. If you look at this print, this is my soap saver. If you want one, I'll leave a link down below. You can go grab it on my eBay store. But if you look at this, right, you can't really see it, but in real life, if you look at it, these top triangle pieces are actually blue, and then the long layer line right here, it's kind of purplish. I don't know why it color shift like that. The filament is not color shift filament. It's just pure blue, but when it printed, these top layer are blue, and then this bottom layer is purplish. You can kind of see it in the camera, in the video, but not like how you can see in real life. But you can definitely tell there's a shift of color right there. I don't know why that happened. It never happened on my CR6 SE, but for this one, you can really see the two-tone. You can kind of pick up in the camera. This one is lighter, this one is darker on the bottom layer versus the topper layer. I don't know why that happened. It just happened. I guess that's a unique feature or something like that. But as you can see here, right there, that's a defect. Right there, that's another defect, defect. The top layer in this K1 Max is just really bad. I don't know why. I used the same infill as I did with my CR6 SE, and it just printed bad top layer. I don't know how to explain it anymore, but everything else printed so nicely. This K1 Max really print corner well. As you can see, these corners are just flawless. Lastly, let's take a look at this Tollerance Test. This Tollerance Test, I got it online. Some website online, I think it's from Thingiverse, something like that. I'll put a link down below. Everything I talk about in this video, I'll put links down below so you can go check them yourself if you want to. But it's essentially from 0.1 all the way to 0.35 clearance. And let's take a look at 0.35. If you can see it, 0.35 right there. It just break easily. This one also breaks really easily. This one breaks easily. But when it comes to this one, the 0.2, I gotta shake it and then it breaks easily. 0.15, I gotta really shake it. It was stuck. The 0.15 was really stuck. I gotta shake it, gotta do all this crazy stuff, and it eventually came loose. But I cannot get 0.1 to came loose at all. You don't even feel this 0.1 moving at all. For the 0.15, you can kind of feel it moving, but it just got stuck. With a little bit of force, you can get it to break free. Oh, and by the way, you can definitely take these out. By the way, that is it with this Tollerance Test. It's just really nice to have one of these. So every single time what is my printer tolerance? Oh, I can just use this as a reference. That is how I printed this snake battery holder with 0.2 tolerance. I know that will fit because of this test right here. One more thing that I really like about the K1 Max is when you don't print for like 3 to 4 minutes, everything gets shut off besides the light. All the fans, everything gets shut off, so it's not in use. The fan is not running, it's not wearing anything off, it just got turned off, which is a very good, very good feature. Every single time I print my CR6 SE, it finished printing, but the fan still runs like 100%. But this one, it runs for a couple minutes, make sure everything is cooled down, and then just shut off of everything, which is so amazing. Another print example is my box right here. I print this box to hold all my tools, and it fits perfectly. As you can see, it fits so nicely. The first layer just print down so smoothly. It is so smooth as the build plate. It's so nice. Oh my gosh, that is so smooth. Both of these are so smooth. I love this finish. This finish looks like it was like, I don't know, molded or something, but it's 3D printed. It's so smooth. And the line, you can barely tell that's 3D printed. It's just printed so nicely. It's at 0.2 millimeters high, but it's just flawlessly so smooth. But that is pretty much it with this video of me fully reviewing the K1 Max. In my experience of owning this printer for the last 2 weeks has been very amazing, printing and stuff like that. I have been very happy with this printer, besides from clogging and the top layer finish. The top layer finish, I can kind of prevent it by using more infill and maybe slow down the speed a little bit. The clogging, I don't know, maybe just get a aftermarket nozzle and try. I don't know what I should do, but I hope there's like some aftermarket out there that can prevent that from happening. And yeah, that is pretty much it with this video of me fully reviewing the K1 Max based on my 2 weeks experience of printing with this, maintaining this printer, and all of the fun and stuff like that. If you want to see more of these videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment down below what you think about this printer, and leave a comment down below what you think about all my opinion. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are some pros? What are some cons that you think about this printer? And I'll catch you on the next 3D print.